Good afternoon and welcome to the Joy Show. I'm Barbara Schreiner Trudell, your host, and I am so excited you decided to join today. This show is about people living their authentic lives. I recognize that there's just one you, just one me. Everybody else is already taken. So when we find our voice, our rhythm, our natural way of being, we create remarkable things in our world. So I am excited that you're here today. Today, my guest is Nanci Miranda. She is a Reiki Master and she is a powerhouse doing all manner of things. She's a certified Reiki Master in Toronto, Canada. She has witnessed the deep healing her clients have experienced. I'm one of those clients. And Reiki is a gentle practice that is deeply comforting and very healing. She offers in person and distance Reiki treatments. Now, those long distance treatments mean it doesn't matter where you are in the world, she can meet you there simply over the telephone, which is really remarkable. She's truly grateful that she's able to do this work, and she really is a master at it. She's also a food stylist and an intuitive artist, so she has a lot on her plate. Uh, Nanci Miranda, how are you, my love?
Fabulous. Thank you for having me, Barbara. This is really cool.
Oh, I'm so glad to have you back. So, tell me a little bit about your Reiki. What got you into this in the first place? That's what I want to know.
Okay. So there was a time when COVID first hit, and I got it, and it damaged my legs. It stripped all the memory. So I wasn't able to walk properly. I had extreme pain, numbness, and I was really concerned that I had MS. So I started going to doctors and neurologists, and they all kept saying to me, this is fascinating. I've never heard anything like this, which isn't what you want to hear
No,
when you go
no
to a
kidding.
doctor. But what it did do, because they couldn't figure it out, was it led me to alternative healing. And someone had recommended Reiki to heal myself. And after a couple of treatments, uh, which were incredible and life changing for me, um, the Reiki master who was giving me the Reiki suggested, if you train in this, you can give Reiki to yourself whenever you want. And so she connected me with her teacher, and I started training right away. And it was amazing to me. Anyone can do Reiki. You just need to be
Yes.
attuned and have symbols placed so that you can open this channel.
Hmm.
Um, so once I did that, it just all of a sudden completely changed how I was dealing with health, how I was dealing with other people. Um, and then there was just this pull to keep going, to do each level. And this year I became a Reiki master.
Wow. Well, what's interesting to me, having experienced your Reiki both in person and at distance, is the things that have happened as a result.
Yeah.
Because I've gone through my own healing, which, I do spiritual mind treatment. And what I love about treatment is it draws in whatever's necessary or needed. And interestingly, you and I are very good friends, and we were able to work together, and we've done a lot of Reiki work together, which has
Mm-hmm.
been really powerful. The thing that stands out the most for me, I think, is when you're working with me and you're talking to me about guides that have come to assist in the process. And one of those guides at one time was my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you can share the story of when he woke you up to give me a message. That was a very interesting moment.
It was amazing. It was so I'm a person who sleeps. I'm getting there, but I haven't hit the age where I'm awake in the night yet.
Yeah.
So I usually wake up about 8 in the morning, but this morning at 6:05, don't know, that time must mean something to him. Uh, he woke me up, and um, for many years I've been able to connect with people who've crossed over.
Yeah.
even before Reiki. It's not like they show up and they're talking to me. It's not like that at all. It's just in who I am inside here. It's just a clear message and an identity. I know who's there.
Yeah.
And your dad came. Your back and legs were really difficult for you at that time.
Yeah.
Severe pain. And he came to me, woke me at 6:05, and he said, to let you know that it was time to wear the green sweater. I had no idea what that meant, but it was like I was not going back to sleep until I texted that to you.
Well, it was very funny. It was very funny because in an earlier session, you had seen this green sweater, and I said, "Oh, well, that's my dad's. I bought it for him years ago, and when he passed, it was the one thing my stepmom gave me that was easy for me. I can hang it in my closet. I can wear it. Genevieve can wear it." But in that session, he had told you that I should wear it anytime I have pain. And the day he woke you up, I was in excruciating
Wow.
pain, but I hadn't thought of the sweater at all.
Yeah.
And so when I got your text, number one, I'm going,
What are you doing
what
up?
is she doing awake? Because I know you don't get up that early. Uh, so it was just a really interesting experience. But many of the things that have happened since you and I have done sessions together, like I've healed my body. And what's interesting to me is how that came about after years and years and years of extreme pain, an inability to stand for more than about, I don't know, 40, 50 seconds without debilitating pain, unable to walk any distance, problem with balance. All of that was resolved in June, and it seemed like that. But I
Mhm.
know that it was the process of healing that I was going through as I was doing treatment, and then you came in with your Reiki by doing that meditation, my journaling, the things I was doing, but that there was something about the Reiki that helped to remove the blocks, the
Mhm.
things that were preventing me from experiencing the healing that I was seeking. So I gotta say, I'm your biggest fan.
Well, it was truly amazing and an honor to watch you heal.
Yeah.
And, you touched on a very important part of Reiki, which is during our lives, we create blocks to protect ourselves.
Mhm.
They aren't punishment, they aren't negativity. They are the kindest, most loving thing we can give to ourselves spiritually,
Mhm.
because there are traumas that are just they're going to be dealt with later. And
Yeah.
while you're not dealing with them, you need lessons. You need to learn new things. You need to experience what seems like terrible things during your life or difficult things, but they're actually, in my experience, in my understanding, they're a building block to the block. And so with Reiki, working with the energy, how I begin, as you know, and I find it really works, is having an intention of what you want to accomplish in the treatment. It isn't
Mm,
just allowing, this, it is relaxing, it is wonderful. But if your intention is to, you know, I intend to clear what's in the way of my abundance or getting a relationship or stopping this pain or whatever your intention is, it's all individual.
yeah.
Once that's stated and I open the channel, everyone has guides. I have guides, and every single person has guides. They're constantly supporting us, loving us, working with us. And when the Reiki energy opens, my guides and your guides are working together. I'm basically opening the symbols and the channel and holding and containing the energy in the room. I'm not
Right.
doing anything other than that. They are clearing things and healing. As these blocks and sometimes we can intend for that to be cleared, but it isn't time. There is
Yeah.
just a timeline we aren't in charge of, which is difficult as humans because we want to control everything. But when it's
True.
time and it lifts, it's surprising to the client and myself. I
Mhm.
don't know what someone's supposed to. I have no idea what's going to lead to healing. I'm always amazed at what I hear, what I see. They send images. They send clear. Sometimes they're talking through me where I'll find myself saying, "We require this, we ask this," and I'm thinking, "Who are we?" Like, that's not me. But and also, when I finish a session with someone, most of that's removed. I'm not holding on to it. I don't have a judgment of the person I'm working with, and it's a real blessing because we're all just doing life, right? I don't have to, and I don't have to. Sometimes when I'm working with someone, and the guides are showing me, a memory of theirs or a past life experience. It is not my life. I don't need to understand it. I don't need to figure it out or comment on it. I'm merely saying what they're showing me. And I have yet to see anyone not say, "Oh my God, that's this about me," or whatever, right? And they're specific. It isn't like, you
Yeah.
know, I think one time you were in a relationship and you weren't very happy. It's not like that. It's
Well, that's
really,
pretty vague. It's kinda
yeah,
like my green sweater.
it's very cool. But to you, when I said, "What is a they're showing me a green sweater," that meant so much to you.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that mattered to you and ended up comforting you in your pain.
Surprisingly, yes. That was the other side that was kind of fascinating about it is I would put the green sweater on and I actually would feel better. I mean, it
Wow.
didn't alleviate the pain completely, but it reduced it dramatically.
Mhm.
And that also surprised me. And I think sometimes when we get messages from the universe, we tend to try to analyze it or try to understand it or make sense of it from our
Mhm.
finite perspective. And I think
Mhm.
that's where we get caught up sometimes because there is no way for our ego self or our finite perception of reality to fully comprehend the depths of the universe. Um, and the
Mhm.
fact that we're talking about the energy that creates all things, I mean,
Yeah.
that's that's pretty remarkable because ultimately there is only energy,
There is
and
only
how it
energy.
manifests is vibrational.
That's right, yeah, and the
Mhm.
incredible thing is, if you think of the sun sends beams to the earth, you can't stop it. You can put a
Yeah,
cloud in front of it, you can put a wall on your house, you can do whatever you like, but the sun's
yeah.
beams are coming down,
The
and
sun is still there.
yes, and energy is everywhere, and it's miraculous that somehow, when I'm giving treatments over the phone, um, as soon as I connect energetically with the person,
Mhm.
um, I'm in their room. I don't,
Yes.
I,
Yes.
it's amazing. It's a miracle. And I am so honored that I get to experience it
Yeah.
because it's, for me, the thought that I can in any way help others reach healing is, that's what life's about. That's what I'm here for. So it's
Yeah.
amazing. Truly honored.
It is such an honor and a privilege to be able to work with people and to assist in changing the energy that if somebody is really suffering or having difficulty, that there's things that can be done that will assist in changing that so that a new reality can be born. And
Mhm.
that's very exciting.
Yeah.
That to me, because that's what I do with spiritual mind treatment as well is there's so many ways that we can connect with healing and what I love is that however we go about it we end up drawing to us everything we need
Mhm.
in order to fulfill that greatest desire. And that's what I love about this when we're working with energy is the universe will send us messages and you were one of the best messages I got. It's like, have Reiki with Nancy. And I've been offered Reiki in the past, and I, kind of passed on it. I did level one and didn't really get anything out of it. It didn't really do anything for me. And so I was like, whatever. I'll
Yeah.
stick with what I know. And and turn to somebody who is doing what they're meant to be doing, which is obviously for you is that Reiki. Now, when you're working with clients, especially when you're doing it over the phone, is
Mhm.
there anything in particular you need from them to help to create that initial connection so the work happens?
Mhm. Well, first I need their full name and their actual location so that
Right.
when the symbols are activated, their guides just connect.
Yeah.
They also cannot have metal around them. It's very important to metal isn't a bad thing, it's everywhere. But if you have it on your body, it can uh, get in the way of how powerful the energy is moving.
Okay. Okay.
And again, back to what I was saying previously, I ask them when they book the session to really seriously think of the intention for that treatment, not just come in expecting me to
Yeah.
do everything. Because when you hold intention, in my experience, you are opening a door. You are
Yes, you are.
opening a gate that you never opened before. And when you take time to say, okay, what is my intention here? What do I want to heal? You know, you start to lower your walls because and I also think that there's a part of it where when they're getting clear on what their intention for healing is, whether it's relationship or money or health or whatever, I believe my sense is that at that moment their guides start working. They see,
Yeah.
okay, you mean it here. We're not just dabbling in something, you know?
Yeah.
And I
I think.
also sorry.
Mhm. Go ahead.
I just wanted to add, when you were talking about, doing treatment, I do treatment before every session.
Mhm.
I set an intention of how healing will take place, how open I will be, how, um, that there'll be a very deep connection, show my gratitude for this gift I've been given, um, and that for me sets the tone of, I use that, well, I do treatment for everything because I know
Well,
it works.
yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing, right? When we find that number one, we're only working with energy. There's only one thing going on. It is this infinite system of energy. We're all connected. So
Mhm.
the fact that you can do distance healing is not a surprise because there is no distance. When it comes to consciousness, we're all connected. We're all part of this one thing. So when it comes to distance stuff, some people are surprised. Well, don't I need to be in the room? No, you don't. You
Just like
absolutely
just like
don't.
electricity that comes in your wall. You set up an outlet so that it has somewhere to connect to, but it's everywhere. It's
Same
coming
as
from
Wi-Fi.
Niagara Falls. It's like,
Yeah,
and what we are is constantly connecting. Well, it's tricky because there is no separation, so I don't know really how to use that word connection. It is all the time, always.
exactly. Well, and you look at Wi-Fi and stuff, right? Like
Mhm,
it's, we're able to connect worldwide,
mhm.
online. It's like this
Instantly.
fascinating thing that
Yeah.
we you and I are in different
Yeah.
places right now. We're both in
Mhm,
Toronto, but we're in our own homes. And
mhm.
then from there, we've got our producer who happens to be in Mexico.
Yeah. How cool is that?
We've got guests online. I mean, Wayne is from Calgary. I know that. And Diego was on, and I think Diego is in Colorado. So it's like we've got this universal connection going. It's always there, like you say. It's not like we do connect, we're always connected. It's
Mhm.
just at some point we consciously acknowledge the connection. I think that's
Yeah,
probably
that's a great way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because that's that's the thing is acknowledging, "Whoa, I'm connected." I remember years ago doing a treatment with a friend of mine who was sick, and one of the, questions I always ask, because it does come back to intention, whether you're doing Reiki or you're doing treatment, but the question that I asked is, "What do you want?" And he said, "All my life, I've been afraid of living." And he says, never afraid of dying, just afraid of living. And he said, I want to live.
Mm.
And it was a powerful moment. And so we treated about life and accepting life and living fully and being connected. And oh, we've got ME from Hamilton as
Oh,
well.
hey.
So it's really incredible that when we set that intention, because he set the intention to live. When I do treatment or you do Reiki, we're not changing somebody's destiny.
No.
You, in receiving that, are deciding to change your own destiny. And we're kind of we help to clear the conduit so it can happen.
Mhm. Exactly. Exactly, yeah.
Exactly. And it's also one of those things because I know how many years I've been doing this stuff, and it's easier for someone else to see where we're at or what might be
Mhm.
blocking us than we can see for ourselves.
Mhm.
And so, regardless of your background and how much you know and whatever, you probably need a practitioner that can see beyond your level of limitation, because that's
Yeah.
sometimes the challenge that we have
Yeah, and
is,
I think too that people get an idea or a concept of what the problem is for themselves,
yeah,
and is rarely that. There
it's
there's there's a pain underneath from long ago that to like I said earlier, to protect yourself, you
yeah,
created this simple block. We're geniuses, we're incredible beings, you know? And,
yeah,
but it's like you need treatment or Reiki or sometimes even a doctor, you know?
mhm, yep,
Sometimes you need the whatever venue it is to have somebody acknowledge that what you're going through is true,
mhm,
receive it, and believe that you can move through it. That's a
yeah,
very important part of what you and I do.
yeah,
We know that it can change in like your
yes,
healing, like my healing. It's like
yeah.
when it's meant to be, when you can let go and be in the moment and believe, everything is possible.
Everything is that's one of the things I love, and it is one of the challenges sometimes with the medical profession, is they will give you a prognosis based on what they know,
Yeah.
what they know about life, what they know about previous patients, how things have occurred. So we get that information sometimes where a doctor will tell us something, and if we absolutely believe that their word is gospel, then it becomes our reality. And it's hard for us to change that unless we can shift that belief into something else where we go, wait a minute, that's their opinion based on years of study. It's
Yeah.
not a flighty, thing generally. So I acknowledge that. And sometimes, like last week, I had an eye infection.
Mhm.
My eyelid, very weird place to get an infection, but okay. And we did Reiki about it. And the doctor that I met at the ER was brilliant. I went to the ER. I was only there about 3 hours, which is
Which is a
remarkable
miracle.
in itself. So to thank you for that, because I think just moved the energy. But the doctor was just absolutely brilliant. Like
Amazing.
every now and again, you meet somebody that has a perfect bedside manner and is
Mm.
just wonderful at every level. When I left the ER, of course, it was packed, packed solid. So I went at the right time, but it required antibiotics and took
Mhm.
those, and everything cleared up, and all is well. But sometimes there's levels of things that are
Mhm.
required, and it's maybe not just one thing, it might be more than one thing, but everything we need will show up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's the most exciting thing to me, is that we will create whatever it is that we have need of. Now we're going to go to a commercial break,
Okay.
and then we'll be right back. So you're watching The Joy Show. I'm Barbara Schreiner Trudell with my incredible guest, Nanci Miranda, and we are talking about the power of Reiki and what it can do for you. So don't go away. Brief commercial, and we'll be back with The Joy Show.
On behalf of everyone at New Thought Media Network, thank you for being a member of our virtual family. Your financial contributions help share the New Thought message with people from around the world. Please visit and contribute at www.ntmedia.org/donate. New Thought Media Network, come be you. And please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace and blessings.
Change, you can do it. Change, it's a sure thing. Change, expect a miracle change. Watch me change when you change the way you look at things. The things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Well, welcome back. I'm Barbara Schreiner Trudell, and this is The Joy Show, and I'm really grateful that you're here. And my guest, Nanci Miranda, Reiki Master extraordinaire. So I thought it might be great for people, especially if they don't know much about Reiki, for you to explain what happens in a session.
Oh, sure. So the way that I work is, if it's in person, you're fully clothed, whether you're distance or in person with me. And you lay down, you get very comfortable. I may, after we've done the intention and I place symbols into your heart, this activates our connection. And if I'm on the phone with you, I actually work on a surrogate. I have a 75-year-old teddy bear that was the teddy bear of a dear friend who passed away. And again, it's very amazing because I can feel, as soon as I connect with the person, I feel everything through this teddy bear. I can feel all the parts of their body. And at the same time, I'm with them in their room on whatever dimension. I don't know how things work, really. It's pretty cool. And then we, get comfortable with each other. Person shares their intention with their guides. And sometimes, I never know why, but sometimes I ask that they keep the intention in their mind and share with their guides. And sometimes I ask it to be said out loud. And I guess that's something the guides are doing. I also prefer, when someone works with me, that I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
It's very important that they feel messages that they're receiving or sensations in their body are connected to their issue, and that I'm not making it up, that I'm there with them, and I find that very powerful for people. And then a session takes about an hour. The time feels like it's about 20 minutes. Time flies very fast during Reiki.
It does.
For me and the client, we're always shocked it's over. And I work down through the body. I can also do it hands-on or hands-off if they're in person. If they're not comfortable being touched, I can just be just above their body everywhere and feel everything, and the energy still moves. And then once we're done, we spend a little time going over what that was like for them, how they felt about the messages, any questions they might have. And then there's a little procedure to ground them, because sometimes you feel pretty spacey. And many times people fall asleep, whether they're on the phone or in person. You know that experience?
I do. My snoring usually wakes me up.
Yeah, I find it so sweet when people say at the end, I think I might have dozed off. And and there's like, yeah, I heard you snore. I know you did. But the beautiful thing about Reiki is whatever I'm sharing, it doesn't matter if you're asleep. It's just a really great level of relaxation. You remember everything I said. You know exactly what your guides were doing. It's pretty beautiful. And
It's kind of remarkable that you can sleep through it and benefit from it.
yeah,
Like
I notice when very deep work happens when their guides allow them to go into that state. And it may be that if they were awake, they'd be in a little bit of, and I don't know if this is really happening, like a little wall. Yeah, but when you're asleep, you're asleep.
Yeah, that's what's kind of cool about this is that it works either way. And it goes back to something that we teach in Science Mind as well, is that because we're all connected, that there is no place where the universe hasn't reached. There's no place where God or spirit or first cause, whatever you want to call this infinite power, there's no place where it isn't. So regardless of whether I'm asleep or I'm awake, it's still right here where I am. And we're working with that energy, that infinite energy that is the idea of life itself, right? So it's very exciting. I'm kind of in awe of it, actually.
And I just want to reassure anyone who's listening. I want you to know that you are always in control of your treatment. If it would seem scary to you that you would fall asleep and be alone with me, you will not fall asleep. Reiki is not violating in any way. And I can honestly tell you that the reason I'm here in this experience, this time as this person, is full service. I have been a deep caregiver for decades, and my whole goal is that you feel safe and loved by the universe and comfortable in every second. And I'm always open to, please don't do that. That doesn't work for me. I don't like the way you're saying that. As you know, Barbara, I just wouldn't want someone to shut the door in Reiki thinking, oh my goodness, if I fell asleep, I'd be vulnerable. It's not like that at all.
Yeah, there is no vulnerability in that at all. And I liked what Sonia said earlier. She mentioned that, it was a great analogy for spirit energy. It's interesting, the idea of vulnerability, because I think we go through that sometimes whenever we're working with somebody in such a deep, close way. There's an intimacy that is created that, given the relationships we've had throughout our lives, sometimes we've been harmed in different ways. And so we might be reluctant to work with somebody because we don't know what they're going to do or how they're going to do it. And would they do something against me?
And that's the perfect way to choose a distance treatment. You're in the safety of your own home. You're listening through your phone. and you can build a trust when working with me. You know,
Yeah.
it's the beauty of Reiki. I don't need to be with your body.
Yeah, yeah, which
You
is
know.
very cool. The other thing that I like to remind people about is that everything I do, right? I'm putting energy out into the universe, however I'm doing it. All of it is coming back to me multiplied.
Mm-hmm.
So if I do anything that is knowingly harmful to someone else,
Mm-hmm.
then I will receive that multiplied.
Yeah.
So there's no way I'm going to do harm to somebody in a knowingly fashion because I know it's coming back to get me
Yeah.
if I
And
do.
I don't need that.
Yeah, no kidding. Like I've
Right.
got enough bumps in my own road without adding to it. And I think that's an important thing for people to know is that the work that I do and the work that you do is about creating a synergy of compassion, kindness, respect, honor. And there's a great level of appreciation and gratitude to be able to work with people at this level. And I think that's an important piece for people to know that they're safe,
Mhm. Mhm.
that everything you do is done from love, that
Absolutely.
energy of connection. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
right now, what I'm doing, because a big part of my life is always service, is
Mhm.
I've just got the long-term care facility that's around the corner from me. I've just connected with the administration there, and I'm going to give gifts of Reiki treatments to their healthcare staff because COVID was brutal on them, and
Yes.
this is a location that my mother-in-law lived in at the end of her life, and
Yes.
the staff was incredible. So that was
Yes.
almost 8 years ago. And when I contacted the administrator to say I would like to offer this, and I was saying about my mother-in-law living there, she said, "Oh, what was her name?" And I said, "It was Lena." And she said, "Oliviero from Ruby?" Like Ruby's the floor, right? And I'm thinking, "Really? You remember that?" Like, who remembered
Wow.
that, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. And for me, that right away, I thought, okay, I am meant to treat these nurses.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't wait.
And that's a great way to be in service. I think whenever we're doing service, it should be our passion that we're giving.
Yeah.
And I think that changes it because sometimes people will volunteer to do certain things and then they might feel a level of resentment or exhaustion or frustration
Mhm.
because it's not in their wheelhouse. It's something that they're doing because it's needed, but it's not necessarily their passion. And so it can be draining, it can be difficult.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
when we find our sort of authentic self, our sacred self, and we give that to the world, then there's a level of ability beyond the imagination, like,
Mhm.
and the strength to do it, and the desire, just let me do
Yeah.
more, let me do
Yeah.
more.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm so excited.
Exactly. Oh, that's beautiful. Well, we also wanted to share today some of your other remarkable talents. Um, I'll tell
They're
you.
gifts.
Oh, you're a gift for sure. So now you are an artist, you do paintings,
Mhm. Yeah.
and your paintings are really quite remarkable. There are so many different styles, and uh, most artists have one thing they do. Nobody told you that, obviously. So you just do everything. So this is lovely. This is one of the portraits that you've done.
Mhm. Yeah. And the right now, Christmas is coming.
Yeah.
So what I'm focused on now is I have moments in time commissions that people can book. So
Yeah.
these are based on photographs
Mhm.
that have moved people in their past. This is a woman with her granddaughters and her dog walking along a path. So for her, that, you know,
Beautiful.
means everything. It's got so much in it for her. Um, and so these commissions are more than just a portrait. They have feeling in them and memories for the person. And instead of this photo being, 2000 back on your phone that we don't print off anymore. I mean, we don't even print photos anymore.
That's true.
Yeah. So I like to work with people to figure out, what is it that meant something to them. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be like a perfectly posed two people smiling or something. It might be
Yeah.
one where you're laughing your head off and you don't even look good, but the moment is so powerful that you want to remember that,
Beautiful. Beautiful. This is
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Isn't that sweet? Yeah, this was painted. A woman was having her fourth child, and it would be a son, and these three daughters she already had, and so this was a memory of her time before he was born. Yeah,
Wow, that's beautiful.
beautiful. And this was so cool. This woman was in her 80s at the time that I painted it, and she's 14 in this photo. And this was her. This is Jimmy and Pearl. She had her favorite horse when she was a teenager, and
Yeah.
so I painted this moment. And I did it in this way that feels like the Depression era. I was very careful because it was a little tiny black and white photo. You could hardly see much of it. But and when I paint, I make sure that loving energy goes into the canvas and yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot because I think this one's cool.
Isn't this funny?
Oh,
Yeah. This was of my husband. It was his Christmas present because the photo was dissolving. It was whatever the film was doing.
yeah.
It was going away. So I painted this for him because it was his favorite moment when he played rugby in high school, when he was the rugby star. So I wanted to capture that for him.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, it's fascinating to me that you've had all of these different experiences and opportunities, and your paintings are remarkable. I have a lot of them in my home, and some of them are landscapes, and some of them are portraits, and some of them are, well, you name it,
Yeah.
and every different medium. I've got some that are oil, some that are acrylic, some that are watercolor, and some that are, what's that other thing you use? The chalky stuff.
Oh, pastel.
Pastels, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, I look around, I go, "Yeah, that's a Nanci, that's a Nanci."
Well, and also, like with Reiki, with my art, I have guides that work through me that are artists, and they allow me to. They kind of choose who's going to deal with which commission. Is it Liz, who does portraits that look exactly like the person, or there's someone else who does abstract. It's all different, but it's all, again, I'm learning that it's the same as Reiki. It's just energy. And I'm an open channel in both ways, with my art and with my Reiki healing. And these guides are able to communicate through me, and yeah, and it's amazing, and I'm truly grateful. I'm telling you, to be me is a cool thing. Every day I go, how do I do that?
It's
awesome.
anyway. And Sonia's commenting on, trusting spirit and her intuition and how that's a little bit scary. But I think she's absolutely right to do that. One of the things I found years ago was that, when I would settle for less than what I really wanted, I always got less than I settled for.
Yeah.
So it ended up hurting me in the long run. So I think it's really important to kind of let go of some of the things we're tied to. This is what makes sense. That doesn't mean it's the best avenue. And so that's a really important thing. Now, the other thing that you do, you are a chef, but you do food styling.
I
Now, a lot
do.
of people don't really know what a food stylist is, so maybe you could share. Look at
Sure.
that.
I prepare the food that professional photographers shoot for campaigns and magazines and cookbooks and products on the shelf.
Yeah,
And so, for instance, this picture, that takes 2 hours to create that. So the drip is perfect, and the cheese is, there's a secret to how I melt cheese. And a lot of the donut in the back would be hand dipped, and that would take me a half an hour. I might dip 30 donuts before, because the camera sees things so differently. And
yeah,
the coffee that's in that cup is a, a painted water, colored water,
yeah,
and with soap bubbles, because coffee itself doesn't photograph well. It's cloudy. It doesn't look clear and black the way you think you want to drink coffee.
yeah.
So there's all these little tricks. And the
Wow.
English muffin, I have a palette of makeup that whenever I work with bread in any way, because bread isn't perfect, right? There's brown
Yeah.
spots and spots that didn't get browned, and so I put makeup on food. And you can't see, but everything's layered perfectly in that sandwich. So I have cardboard in there and pins and
Well, it's interesting, when I see things like this and I go, wow, that looks so good. And then I get the sandwich and it doesn't look anything like that.
yeah.
But because I know you, I sort of know what it takes to create that level of perfection.
Hmm.
And it's fascinating. Now you have a lot of clients, but it's like everything you do, like, look at that. That looks amazing.
Yeah. So
Wow.
those drinks, the liquid is actually mixed with gelatin so that it never moves. It
Yeah,
looks like it just got poured, but it's not. It has to have stability because it has to sit like that for a couple of hours. And
yeah,
then the whipped cream is fake. It's a recipe that I have so that it stays perfect.
yeah.
And the latte in the middle is beaten egg whites. So there's all these tricks. So you would never want to eat what I do, but I make you want to order their product. That's the important thing.
That's that's amazing. That's amazing. And I love that everything you do is coming from the creative energy. Oh, look at that. Pralines and
Okay,
cream.
so that's a dough that I make, and the
Yeah.
caramel that's in there is honey mustard because it's translucent and it photographs well. so, so that
So
would have
don't
had
eat that.
that would have had to have been on set for a couple of hours, and ice cream won't do that. So that
No,
will last for days
yes.
like that.
Wow. It's interesting to hear these little tips and secrets because we don't think about that, when we're in the grocery store and we're looking at all those big, beautiful banners, or we're in the
Yeah,
restaurant and we see their beautiful pictures. It
no,
doesn't occur to us that what we're looking at is not food.
no. It's food you wouldn't eat.
Ish. It's food-ish.
I have to use everything. I have to use everything that is food, but I'm altering it. So there are rules to it, but in the same way, you wouldn't eat what I make.
Yeah, yeah. You don't really want mustard on your ice cream. Got it.
Exactly.
But but I love that you have these diverse, talents, and yet all of them seem to stem from that inner consciousness, that creativity, that whether it's Reiki or it's food styling or it's painting, you're still tapping into that that silent witness inside that is giving you information that will help
Exactly.
to accomplish whatever you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And even with food styling, when I'm doing that, um, I'm actually communicating with the food. And
Mhm.
I know that's might sound crazy to people, but the food is participating with me. And there is just a meditation that I do where again, it's very important to me. Everything I do has intention. I intend what I want to accomplish. Then I open up, and they're in a group of 40 carrots. There are 2 carrots that are meant for that photograph. There aren't, they all would love to be in the photograph, but there are certain foods that are meant to go, and I notice them, and then I embrace them, and I use them in that form of art. And it's very cool. I've been doing it for 35 years, and I was there yesterday at the studio, and it's just as fun. It's hard work. I my day is long, but it's rewarding every time. It's incredible. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, when we can work in that place that evokes emotion, um, desire, um, I think what happens is we reach people in a deeper way because there's something happening that's so organic
Hmm.
that it's just like Pierre put in here about his childhood dog Jappy
Yeah, so sweet.
and
That,
that painting that Genevieve had done for him.
yeah, that was so cool for her to order that.
Yeah,
It was great,
yeah,
and it was
it just
so sweet to do. The dog, of course, I couldn't meet the dog. That dog had
yeah,
passed a long time ago, but to have the honor of that's the honor creating, because I knew when I created it what it would mean to for Pierre to see it, to look at it, all that love would be
yeah,
expressed, right?
yeah.
So cool.
And I think he was, I think I'm remembering this correctly. He was like, "How on earth did she paint that snow? How do you paint snow? Like when I look at snow, it's white, but you painted it and it looks like snow. It's
Yeah, that
like,
it was
and it
cool.
isn't white. It's a
No, it's
combination
purple
of
and green and beige and yellow and
yeah,
yeah.
like see that's the thing that whenever somebody goes, "Oh, there isn't a God," or "I don't believe in God," it's like, well, I don't believe in a guy in the sky, but I do
Mhm.
believe in the universal energy that is intelligent, that permeates all life everywhere, and is the animating force for all that we think, say, and do. And when I look at what you do, I mean, of course, there's something.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
right?
where would you get the intuition for all of these things if it didn't come from that intelligence back of the universe? It's like
Exactly.
you're
Yeah.
the conduit of something. Yeah, Wayne just put in the chat, "Be the light."
Mm.
And I think that sums you up, is being that light in the world and sharing your sharing your brilliance, your brightness in whatever way you're called to at any given moment,
Yeah, for sure. And I
which is
I
beautiful.
just I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. I'm doing everything that I want to do. There isn't an aspect of relationship or career or anything that is out for me right now. And I also know in life, everything changes. So while it is this beautiful gift, I am celebrating it. I would love if
I'm
it lasted
enjoying the moment.
till I'm in the grave, but right now I'm surfing life. I am surfing the light of life.
Wow. Well, that's beautiful because I think that's the other side of it is sometimes when things are going in a certain way, um, that we we can sometimes get stuck in the good, going, "Oh, it has to stay like this forever," and then we start grabbing onto it, and of course, when we do that, it slips right through our fingers because we can't hold life.
Can't do it.
Life is an organic expression that is happening continuously. And I love what Sonia put into the chat here. Listening to Nancy brings how the fact that we are made in the image and the likeness of Source, and whatever it is we are, to the extent that we embrace it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that as we embrace that creative potential of life, stuff happens that
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
we don't know why or how or whatever, but it's stuff is happening because we're an open channel,
Yeah.
like a conduit to that divine energy.
Yeah. And also, learning through the center and your teaching. My life transformed when I started meditating every day. When I take that time and I honor that I exist,
Yeah.
who I am, it powerfully changed the way I'm experiencing life. I am
Yeah.
so much more in the moment. Um, and it also added for me this element I'm just loving, which is witnessing what we're doing, is witnessing what others are experiencing. To appreciate that and vibrate in that is so cool. I have stopped judging people. I've stopped thinking I know what they should do. It's like I'm just going, wow, is that what it's like for you? Like, that's cool, because
Yeah.
no two people are alike. No two experience. Even if you both had your parents die, there's not the same experience. You know what I
No,
mean? So
it
amazing.
absolutely isn't. We never know what somebody else is going through. We
Yeah.
just do not know.
No.
And so to say that we do is a bit of an insult to the individual,
Exactly.
because we don't know. We can imagine what it might be like. But
Mhm.
even if we've both had similar pain or whatever, everybody's pain tolerance is different. Everybody's experience is unique to them. So
Absolutely.
honoring that is such a precious, precious gift. And I know you're remarkable at that,
Thank you.
which is
Thank you.
which is so beautiful. Well, we are coming up to the end. Do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share with our audience here today that they can take away with them?
Well, I think I would love them to know that they're perfect the way they are, that to start celebrating who you are, start seeing all the gifts you've been given and celebrate them and express them. There is no destination. Stop trying to get somewhere. Stop trying to be something else. Um,
Yeah.
Barbara and I are totally different people, and I'm never going to be Barbara. I've got to be me. I'm already me. There's nothing I have to do to be me. This is it. And I
Yeah.
welcome you if you want to reach out to me for Reiki, or if you would love a painting. I would be honored to connect with you. I send you love, I send you light, and I wish only the best for everybody.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Nancy. That's beautiful. Well, and I know that as we come to the end of this time, that it has been a real privilege to share this time with you, as always. And I'm hoping that whatever was said or done sort of stimulates somebody into living their remarkable existence. And the thing I would like to, piggyback with you is that this energy that we're working with is infinite, creative, and intelligent, and that each and every one of us is created perfect, whole, and complete.
Mm.
There's nothing missing, nothing broken, nothing flawed about our existence, regardless of what we might be experiencing in this moment. And in that moment of accepting, I am divine and beautiful, loving and wonderful, spectacular, unique and special, like everybody else, the
Yeah.
world just transforms for me. So thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Deja. Thank you, everybody on the call. I'm so grateful that you were here.
Yeah.
I love you all. Have a marvelous week, and I'll see you here again next week when we continue talking about the joy that it is when you're absolutely you.
Thank you, Barbara. This was an honor. Thank you.
Thanks, Nancy.